Good evening, Pontiac, and welcome to the 2021 Mayoral Debate. This is hosted by Pontiac United and presented by the Pontiac Housing Commission. My name is Ariel Gardner. I am a lifelong proud resident of Pontiac and a member of Pontiac United. Thank you all for coming out on tonight. Give yourselves a hand. I will be your moderator tonight along with DeMar Bias. Come on, give him a hand. Now, before we get started with the debate, we will have our council candidates coming out and just to speak on their platform for about 2 to 3 minutes. They will all come out, we'll call their names, but before they come out, I do want to set a few ground rules that you know about the debate. Each candidate will have 3 rebuttal cards that they may use at any time during the debate after the initial candidate has finished their remarks. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the questions presented and 1 minute to rebuttal. All questions read on tonight were submitted by Pontiac residents, and some questions may be directed for a particular candidate. Now, the most important rule for tonight is we want this debate to be very respectful and informative, which means hold all applause, comments, and remarks until the very end. And let's just have a good time tonight, okay? DeMar?
Once again, we thank everyone for coming out this evening. We know it's other places you could be, but there's no place better than becoming an informed voter and hearing the platforms because we're at a pivotal time in our city, and I think this is a key ingredient to understanding who is going to be the best candidate to move the city forward. So beginning, we want to thank all the candidates for being here this evening, all the mayoral candidates, those who showed up from City Council. We want to extend a huge thank you to ATAP for opening your doors. They have some concession things going on, and that will benefit this school wholeheartedly. So make sure you reach out in your pocket, give a donation, something, buy something from the concession stands to benefit the children. If we have any clergy here, we want to make sure we acknowledge any clergy or any other dignitaries in the building. And we also want to thank Oakland Forward for their collaborative effort and Black Youth Votes. We have already thanked the Pontiac Housing Commission. We just thank you for putting this initiative forward and teaming up with Pontiac United for this huge event. We want to thank Asante Lucas from F&G Media for everything he's providing with the streaming services, so those who couldn't make it out tonight are also able to become informed. And a huge thank to ATAP's principal, September Williams. We thank you for opening up your doors and allowing this thing to be possible. So right now, we are going to start out with our candidates, and we are going to bring up Marcus Bowman, if he's here. Okay, do you need a few minutes? Could you? Okay, well, we're going to bring up Marcus Bowman.
How's everybody doing today? Woo, I'm long-winded. Feel like ever since I started this campaign, I've just been running and running and running. DeMar, mind me asking, what was just an open forum question?
3 to 5 minutes, speak your platform.
Speak my platform? Okay, well, it's a pleasure to be here with all these beautiful faces tonight. I just want to let you all know my name is Marcus Bowman, the real Marcus Bowman. I'm here. I'm not no relation to Judge Bowman, so I don't want you guys to get confused whatsoever. But I'm here on this night trying to push this agenda to let you all know that we need to work together. This is a time for Pontiac to push the reset button. This is a time for Pontiac to grow. This is time for Pontiac's youth to come together and vote in high numbers like never before. And this is a time to bridge the gap with seniors. Now, we know the problems. We know all the issues. Let's stop talking about that. Let's focus on the solutions. And the solutions is we need to work together. We need to look at the budget. We need to analyze everything from top to bottom to see what Pontiac residents aren't getting so we know what problems we can fix to give Pontiac residents a higher quality of life. Now, this is my first time running. So a lot of the things that goes on in campaigns, I'm not familiar with yet, but I am a resident here. I am a concerned father. I am a concerned resident. I am a concerned husband, and I'm someone who's been putting in work in this community for a long time and seen how things have declined in the past 20 years. And I'm just tired of it. And I know it's a lot of people in this room that's tired of it as well, too. So the major thing is we need to figure out what the solutions are. Now, with these great minds working together, we can come up with a solution to make Pontiac great for the next 8 years and beyond. But it won't happen if we don't get out and vote. And when you go to vote, understand what you're voting for, understand who you're voting for, and understand what you want, and find some similarity between you and the candidate so that way you can bridge the gap between whatever problems that you have and that prestige that politicians sometimes often carry and sit higher than the people. So I'm trying to bring it back to the people. I'm working for the people. I'm fighting for the people. And on August 3rd, I ask you all to support Marcus Bowman and vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus Bowman, who's representing District 1. I was remiss to say that. And now we have Karen Jorgensen from District 1.
Good evening, everyone. Wow, this is a really good attendance here. I was just at the Pontiac board meeting, so I apologize for not arriving on time. So again, I'm Karen Jorgensen. I am running for District 1. I have been a part of Pontiac way before even moving into Pontiac. I've been involved in all kinds of organizational groups, and the one that I'm most proud of is Canvas Pontiac, and that's a program that has been sustained for 8 or 9 years now. We were able to get the attention of the Detroit Institute of Arts to support us, and that's a project that I'm really proud of. Also, Pontiac's Performing Artists. We have so much talent in the city, and I have been really excited about that. Like many of my candidates that are running for the same position, I think all of us have excellent qualifications, and I'm really excited. And we've made a pact with each other that we're all going to work together no matter who wins this position. And that is probably not a stance that most politicians do when they get together and want what's best for the city. So that tells me that we all have great passion for the city. I have been living downtown for the past 10 years. I renovated 3 buildings. Many of you may know Pontiac's Little Art Theater and the Green Room Cafe. So we have been bringing a lot of performances and things to the community. And I would say one of the things that I've learned is that there are 3 sides to most stories with a problem. And for instance, like snow removal, most of us have pretty much the same issues, and that is we really want more from our cities. Departments, our services, simple things like snow removal was just a couple of phone calls to find out that the cars weren't being removed, and therefore the snow couldn't be removed on time. And then cars that decided to stay on over the time period were then ticketed. And then soon we were able to also find out that the company that was contracted, we really needed to understand the contract better so that we were able to get the snow out of the city and not being over storm drains and things of that nature. So we really have a lot of great assets in the city. I'm actually kind of tired of hearing about what potentials Pontiac has. It is time for us to roll up our sleeves.
Excuse me.
It is time for us to work together. And
Your
thank you for
time
this.
is up.
I'm
Thank
Karen
you.
Jorgensen. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And now we have Sean Preston, also representing District 1.
First, I want to thank Pontiac United for putting together this great event. Give them a round of applause one more time. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Sean Preston. I'm a small business owner here in the city of Pontiac. I own a small business called Yaktown Don't Back Down, where we are committed to showing Pontiac's resilience through our clothing. I also serve as a community organizer for Oakland Forward, where our goal is to strengthen, expand, and empower communities like Pontiac. I serve on the board of directors for Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County. I'm an Accent Pontiac board member as well. I also received a Millennial Neighborhood Champion Award from the Ascend Foundation. I received a Park Champion Award from Friends of the Park. Friends of the Park of Pontiac. 10 years ago, I was invited to participate in a block party from TPN. And that's where my service to the Pontiac community will begin. I literally live, eat, sleep, and breathe Pontiac. I participated in almost every Stop the Violence march, every community town hall, every park cleanup. I've been in Pontiac my entire life. I own a home here. My wife and I are raising our kids here. I started a business here. I work as a community organizer here. So with that being said, I am Pontiac, you are Pontiac, and together we can make a better Pontiac together. Vote Sean Preston for District 1.
Sean, you left your phone. All right, and now we have Julia Ruffin representing District 1.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Julia Ruffin. I would like to say, again, thank you to Pontiac United, Pontiac Housing Commission, and to Mr. Mott Taylor for putting this wonderful event together where you get an opportunity to meet the candidates and hear what we have to say. I am a graduate of James Madison College. I have training in public policy. I have worked at the state level as a student intern, participating as part of the Black Caucus Foundation. Currently, I work in county government. I've been working in county government for about almost 20 years. I've been living in Pontiac for about that amount of time as well. I am also a proud homeowner. I was a renter at one time. Part of my reasoning for running is because I know that we have what it takes to make Pontiac a great city and a great community. I want to lend my skills, my knowledge to the community to take us to that level. I believe in the people in Pontiac. I believe that we should have the best. I've worked at the county level where I've seen other communities thrive. I've seen how senior centers look in other communities. I've seen how youth programs and youth centers look in other communities. I see how homeowners come together in other communities. I see a lot of things that I know we deserve in Pontiac. I too want to see transparency. Working at the county level in water, currently I work for the Water Resource Commissioner's office. I helped for about 2 years, I handled the annual report where we made certain that the residents understood exactly how their dollars were being spent from a budgetary standpoint. I did the same thing, creating annual reports for the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, making sure that Oakland County residents were able to see how their dollars were being spent. I want transparency. I want us to have the opportunity to thrive together. We have to work together like it's the thing that most of our colleagues are saying that are running for District 1. We can say what we're going to do as candidates, but we can't do it alone. We have to have a good council. We have to have good administrative leadership, a good mayor that believes in working together. I promise you that I will work for you. I want to make certain that we have the best. And I'm asking for your vote humbly and respectfully because I believe you deserve the best. Thank you. And my name is Julia Ruffin, District 1. My website is www.votejuliamruffin.com. Thank you for your time. I hope you vote for me. Thank you.
And now our final candidate for District 1, Ms. Melanie Rutherford.
Good evening. Let's try this again. Good evening. There you go. My name is Melanie Rutherford. I was born and bred in the city of Pontiac. I love Pontiac. I breathe Pontiac. And at the end of the day, I'm here to serve all of Pontiac. I had the privilege in 2017 being elected on the Pontiac Public Library as a secretary for the Board of Trustees. During that 4 years, we've been able to increase volume. We've been able to get a library board, we've been able to get a library board mobile, but most importantly, we've been able to increase the expectations of what you want a library to be. Because of those reasons, as well as me being on the Pontiac Housing Commission, as well as me being a for-right activist, I'm asking for your vote. I have the thing called the Melanie Rutherford Promise. And you're probably like, what is the Melanie Rutherford Promise? See, I want to work for you so bad that I'm willing to give up my salary for the first year. Yes, you heard it, the first year. I don't need the money because God has blessed me, first of all. Number two, I understand at the end of the day that I can't work with anyone unless we work as a team. So like it or love it, I'm here. I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna run for this office, and most importantly, I'm here to show you that at the end of the day, it is about we, because we are Pontiac and we are united, and when we're united, we can never be defeated. So at the end of the day, if you don't know who to vote for, I'm asking you please to take a chance on Melanie Rutherford. And if you need to know any information about me, you can please go to votemelanierutherford.com. I'm Melanie Rutherford, your candidate for the Pontiac City Council District 1. Good evening.
All right, those are all the candidates for District 1, and we do want to make sure that you know we are only having city council candidates who actually are participating in the primary. So that's why the other districts are not represented, because they don't have a primary election. So now we are moving on to District 2, and we'll start with Coleman Yoakum.
Good evening, how is everyone? Good to see you. Okay, just so you don't miss them, the other candidates for District 2 are also here, so don't skip them because they weren't the red chairs. Okay, all right, my name is Coleman Yoakum. I have been a Pontiac resident now for 10 years. I'm the executive director of Micah 6 Community, a small organization working on the west side of town. My wife and I are co-owners of Sprout Fresh Food Store, a little vegetable store over there on West Huron. Got community gardens, do stuff for kids, all that good stuff. But I'm just here tonight because I'm excited about my city. I've been doing work in my neighborhood, kind of keeping my head down, doing my thing for 10 years, loving on my community, loving my neighbors. And the reason that I decided to run was because I interviewed for this position a little while ago, and one of the candidates said, you know, District 2 needs a candidate or needs a representative who is a representative for all 4 major communities in our district. And I said, that's a great idea. And then I feel like hasn't really lived up to that. People in my neighborhood still don't know who their representative is. There hasn't been anybody elected to that seat from the north side of Huron in a long time. And so I'm running as a representative for my neighborhood, and that's why I'm here. And I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep working for my neighborhood. I'm gonna keep working for my people, whether I win or not. One of the exciting things to me about this election in general is there are a lot of really great people running. Are you pumped about the people you have trying to represent you? Like, I'm excited about that. I haven't been this excited about an election in a long time. There are great people who really want these seats, who are working harder for these seats than I've ever seen anybody work. I made the joke, but I don't think that it wouldn't happen. The only thing left for Melanie Rutherford to put her face on is a blimp. She is out there, she is trying to get it, she's talking, she's meeting people, she's putting her name out there, she's doing a great job. Brett Nicholson has signs everywhere. He's done a great job. They've done a fantastic job letting you know that they want to represent you. There are really good people, and if listen, I've been in 100 rooms with Tim Grimel up to this point, and I just, Tim will walk into whatever room and go, oh my God, what a beautiful space. I mean, just, wow, what an amazing room. This space, so many hidden gems here in the city of Pontiac. And, there are people working so hard to be your representative, to be the people who you elect to move the city forward, to keep moving the ball down the field, to keep the hype and keep the excitement up and represent you, hear your voice, and make sure that your voice is represented in those seats in City Council and in those seats in City Hall. And I hope that that feeling for you is contagious, that you're going to people who aren't here tonight and saying, there are great people who are trying to work for us, and there are great people who are running for these seats.
That is your time.
That is my time. You are right. That is totally true. Get excited. This is going to be a great election season. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Coleman. Next up, we got Brett Nicholson, representing District 2.
Good evening. My name is Brett Nicholson. I live on Ottawa in District 2. I've been here for 10 years. I've owned my home for 8 years. My experience and what I bring to this opportunity is that my career has been in workforce development. And we have a staffing crisis at City Hall. So those two things go really well together, right? I have trained, I have hired over 1,000 people in my career, and I want to bring that experience and that passion to City Hall. I want to get Pontiac working again. We have the budget now. We can employ these the positions that we have unfilled. We need to find recruitment that works for us. We have tremendous amount of qualified people in this city, and we need to get them working in the city. That helps our tax base raise. We know we all have a city income, we all pay it, that income tax. So doing this together means something really important to me. I have worked in banking, I've worked in nonprofit, and that nonprofit edge, that will bring us even closer, right? Because workforce development means a big thing. Workforce development, to me, and the way that we think about economic development needs to be turned on its head. I have talked to people working for the city. I've talked to business owners that are being approached by the city, and they are what they're hearing is, come to the city of Pontiac because we have cheap property value. Come to the city of Pontiac because we will give you tax abatements. To me, that undercuts the city that we love and that we live in. What we need to do is we need to talk to those employers about the talent we have in this city. We need to find out what that talent is. We need to purchase a talent bank. Every major business has one of these things, right? Where you can go on and apply online, put your skills, your experience in that. We can harvest that data, find out who lives here, what experience and talents we have, market those experience and talents to employers, and grow our tax base, grow those city services so that way we can actually have a return on the investment that we spend every single year when we pay our taxes and when those dollars are taken out of our paychecks. We need to restore civility to City Hall. In my human resource background, all I do every day is teach people how to work together. So from a different perspective, everybody wants to work together. I know how to do that. I know how to teach other people how to do that, and I want to be of service. I own Pontiac's oldest business. I own Oakland County's longest running restaurant, the Liberty Bar. Come see me there if you don't see me on City Council. I really humbly request your vote. Vote for Brett.com, and I'll be in your neighborhoods. In my neighborhood, I promise to serve you well.
And we also have representing District 2, Megan Shemansky.
Hi, I'm Councilwoman Shramsky, and there are some in the audience and saying, oh, you're that Megan. Yeah, I'm that Megan. I went to Pontiac Central, Jefferson, Washington, Webster, Bethune. I have lived here almost my entire life. My family's been here 6 generations. And some of you may have had my mother teach you in school. She's a retired Pontiac school teacher. I'm often asked in these questionnaires, what's your vision? Well, I have a lot of visions, but my vision darn well better coincide with my residents' vision. That's how I work. I want all viewpoints, I want all opinions, and I inform my residents of everything I'm doing every step of the way. If you call me, I will call you right back. I will email you right back. And people are so surprised, oh, you called me on a Sunday. Oh, you're out here with the sewer trucks on Sunday. That's me. This is not my side hustle. I do not own a business. I do not have a nonprofit. This is my 24/7 gig, and I do it darn near 24/7. I am very interested in I have a passion for the sewers. I've been mapping the sewers for 3 years, and Claudia Ruffin can attest. I've been calling her for 3 years, and I've only been the council person 14 months. I direct them every time I know they have a grant. I direct them over here. Okay, I need you to check out this street and this street and this street and this street, because we really need to get that taken care of. And I'm so excited about the possibility of $15 million from sewers from an EGO grant, and with WRC. I'm excited about the American Rescue Plan money we're getting that we can use for our sewers and replacing our lead pipes, you know, because we have a lot of those. I'm very excited about that. And I also have mapped the roads, which roads are the worst in my district, you know, because we're not ever going to be able to take care of them all at once, but let's go worst first. But I'm really passionate about what my residents live with every day, what services they get. And as far as development, I'm of this mind. I only want to see developments that are good for the citizens, beneficial to our existing residents. Are the services offered good? Is the tax base good? Is it beneficial to the citizens? Are there job opportunities for the citizens? Because all development is not good development. And I also believe that we should have communication with the residents to let them know what development is coming, because we just recently had development that we had no clue about, but that is no longer on the table for now. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm 24/7. You call me, I'll come. And I'm most interested in the neighborhoods. I'm interested in the city as a whole, but I'm representing District 2, and I have to take care of what my residents need, what they live with every day. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we move on to District 4 with Ashley Altman.
Hi everyone. So yes, I am Ashley Altman and I am running for City Council in District 4. Any District 4 folk here? All right. Howdy. Hi there. So nice. I'm glad that you're here tonight, and all the rest of you as well. So when I was told I had a few minutes, I went through my first draft, and it took me 3.5 minutes to get through my job. So let's go with the abridged version. My main employer right now is the St. John Lutheran Church in Farmington Hills. I am the Director of Mission Advancement, which is probably the coolest job title I'll ever have. I'm also on the board of Growing Pontiac. We are a nonprofit that supports food growers in our community. And with my partner, I have a small food business here called Plain and Fancy Food, and we're currently working on opening a cafe. So let's see, I've been in Pontiac for 11 years, basically my whole adult life after getting out of college. I moved straight here and have been here ever since, and I don't want to leave. Through my relationship with the city goes much further back than that, and if y'all want to talk about that or my jobs or any of that, come talk to me after this. I'll be happy to answer your questions. So I've never been one to just sit around and wait for things to happen. I want to get things done. So I can dream big, and I can balance those big dreams with practicality and pragmatism. So often we hear things, you know, like, I want bike trails in our community, and people are like, no way, too much money, not gonna happen. And I say, how do we do it? Not everything can happen at once, but we can plot a course and we can work to get there. So planning and designing systems has always been a skill of mine. And whether it's improving entrepreneurial workflow for residents or addressing social issues, I'm ready to use my skills to help the community. So in other forums, I've talked about how starting a business is going to be hard, but the city should not be making it hard. The same goes for our everyday lives. I saw a guy whose car was disabled because of potholes. That can mess up your life. A broken axle can, devastate you if you don't have the means to get that fixed. In my personal story, I've got one. It was life-changing for me, and I'm still living with the consequences of our infrastructure. So, let's see here, sorry. Pontiac's a great place to live, and I love that I live here. I want to make our streets safer for folks who are playing, like the kids who are playing, the people who are walking or riding their bikes. I want good jobs, stable jobs, living wage jobs. I want development that supports our community and doesn't burden it. All right, let's get this done. Who wants this?
Thank you. I'm not sure if he's in the house. Is Randy Carter here tonight? I didn't know if I saw him. Okay, our final candidate representing District 4 is going to be Kathy Lee James.
Good evening. I am Kathy Lee James. I am a mom, I'm a minister. I am currently serving as president of the Friends of the Pontiac Parks, a group that I started that has worked to improve the parks in our city, and working in conjunction with the city of Pontiac, we've been able to put over $100,000 in park improvements in city parks. I am running because I believe that it's time for a change. I believe that it is time for us to step up and move our city forward. How do we do that? We need to unify. We need to come together. And I believe that it is time for us as a city to set a standard, set a different standard for ourselves. That standard needs to be that our residents need to come first. We need to do more for the residents in the city of Pontiac. We need to prioritize our residents. A lot has happened in our city. We have seen tremendous growth in our city in terms of businesses coming in. But the everyday life of Pontiac residents has not changed much. And I think we need to change that. We need to change our standard. We need to change our way of treating each other so that we can work together, come together as a city, and move our city forward. I am a college graduate, graduated from OU. I worked for General Motors for 31 years as a quality engineer, production supervisor. So I've worked with people, worked with teams for the last 30 years, and I believe that these skills can help me to be a good city councilman. I would like your vote because I believe that we need to move our city forward. Barack Obama said, we are the change we want to see. And you know, when I considered running for city council, that's what came to my mind. I am the change I want to see. I want to see change in this city, and I believe that I can be part of that change. Vote for Kathy Lee James, Pontiac City Council, District 4. Thank you.
All right, thank you to all of our city council candidates this evening. So we are now about to transition into our mayoral debate. If you do have questions, there are some people who are still giving you opportunity to secure your questions. So we will begin by introducing our candidates, and then followed up Ariel will start with our first question, and we'll go left to right, and we'll get it started. So first, our candidate is Wanda Denise Coates. We have Alexandra Riley, our incumbent mayor, Mayor Deidre Waterman. We have Jeremy Bowie, and we have Tim Grimel. At this time, we will move into the debate, and starting out with Ariel's first question.
All right, we will start with our first question. Pontiac's revitalization has seen periods of momentum, but has mostly stalled even before the pandemic. Why do you think that is? And what will you do in your position to get the ball rolling again? And we'll be starting with you, Ms. Wanda Coates.
Hello, everyone. I am Wanda Denise Coates, and I'm your candidate for Mayor, City of Pontiac. First of all, I thank the Heavenly Father for allowing me to be here. I thank you, Pontiac United, for allowing this opportunity. Really quickly, I live in Pontiac, I work in Pontiac, I love Pontiac. I'm passionate about Pontiac. And yes, I can answer that question. 2016, I felt it. 2016, I was here working at Pontiac Academy of Excellence. We had over 200 children enrolled in the program. 2017, I did business networking. We had over 100 people in that particular program. I remember us doing the Martin Luther King walk. We did a whole lot of things, and I felt the city of Pontiac coming alive. And then all of a sudden, it stopped. It's like a roller coaster ride, and you all feel it. And that's why I'm so passionate about becoming the mayor of City of Pontiac. We got to keep it moving. We're in the 21st century. Some of the things that City of Pontiac we need strong workforce development. We need science, technology, engineer, arts, math, and music. We need 3D design. We need biotechnology. We got to make sure these neighborhoods are safe. We got to bring families together. A city is strong as couples, and that's what's happening. So as we rise up together, bring unity in the community, then it's going to be even. It's going to be even, but we have to come together, and that is my stand. And I do understand it's time to rise up for the city of Pontiac. Wanda Denise Coates, thank you.
And we do want to remind all of the candidates that you will have 2 minutes. Same question.
Thank you. Good evening, Pontiac.
Good evening.
I'd like to first thank Pontiac United, Tracy Hirsch, all of the organizers, Ariel, Damar, Jasmine, all the community groups, all of you that have come out tonight, the Pontiac Housing Commission, Executive Director Maya Taylor, Deputy Director Yvette, and just all of you for coming out. I believe the question was, what will I do as the next mayor of Pontiac to revitalize the city of Pontiac? And I thank you for that question, Ariel. I think it's very important, and I am running to prioritize Pontiac people. It is very important that we prioritize city services that impact directly the daily lives and well-being of our citizens, making sure that our roads are repaired, making sure that our streets, our street lights are on and working, making sure that our young people have opportunities, making sure that our seniors are honored in a way that when they go to a facility, they have quality programming in a safe and modern environment. And so prioritizing Pontiac people and responding with resources, going after state and federal funding that will impact the daily lives of our citizens by re-engaging and retooling our workforce, and creating opportunities for those within our communities to get jobs and to raise our property values and raise our quality of life. And lastly, to build an inclusive and an equitable economy for all of us, and restoring hope and positive change to our system of government and decorum where we can work together for one common cause and one Pontiac. Thank you.
Same question, Mayor Waterman.
Thank you, and welcome everybody to this stunning array. And thank you, Pontiac United, for taking such care in putting this forum together. This is a very distinct period in Pontiac's history. We are continuing the revitalization, which is recognized not only in the county, but across the country. As Pontiac continues the pendulum of progress that we have started. We've gone from being financially in distress and crisis 8 years ago when I started, to now being a city with surplus and able to enable us to do some things to restore our community, to stabilize our neighborhoods, to repair our infrastructure, to improve the quality of our public safety, and more importantly, most importantly, is to make sure we support the lives and lifestyles of our citizens. That is of primary importance to me. That's why I ran for mayor. It started when I worked to save the library for our children. And those are the things that are important to me because I care. I care about this community, and I care about the lifestyles of our citizens, and I care about making sure Pontiac is a better place. You know, I had a news reporter who interviews me. This Pontiac is getting more attention from the world now. They see the pendulum of success we have been on. We've got the North American International Show coming to Pontiac for the first time because Pontiac is recognized now not as the hole in the donut that they used to call us. And I don't know about you, but I didn't like being called the hole in Oakland County donut. I'm not the hole in anybody's donut, and I think you're not either. We are proud, we are resilient, we are a city that has a bright future if we continue to work together, and that's what we've done together. I enjoyed hearing all the candidates for council talk, and I know I've seen all of you and worked with you in something or other that you have done to contribute to this community. Want to continue to do so.
Same question.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Good evening. I'm Jeremy Bowie, and I'm running for mayor here in the city of Pontiac. Thank you, Pontiac United. I think this is the first step in showing that a city is about to change. Holding an event like this, showing that local elections matter. And I just thank Pontiac United, ATAP, everyone involved for having this forum. But, you know, in a community like Pontiac, in which you had General Motors who had the most Pontiac had the most General Motors plants of any city in the country. Then you had the Detroit Lions at the Silverdome. When that's really your main base and they leave and you don't build an economic foundation, when they withdraw, the city is going to fail. When you couple that on top of not really investing in education in your children, you cannot attract talent to come in your city to live and spend money. And so when you have years and years of just putting your eggs in one basket, GM and the Detroit Lions, and then you have, and we've all heard the fraud and the stuff going on with the school district and losing money. You know, we got $56 million in debt where you have to cut staff and all this stuff. That's an amalgamation of disaster. And so that's what happened to the city of Pontiac. And so now it's critically important that you invest in diversifying your economy. I am happy that Amazon here. I am happy that United Wholesale Mortgaging is here, Williams Company, Lee Contracting. But we need more. We need to build our small city off the structure of small business. Small business thrives in America. Small business builds communities. Small business strengthens community. And when you don't have that and you put your eggs in one basket and that leaves, then then your community collapse. And then also, like I said, education. People want to live in areas they can feel safe and send their children to school. You know, and Pontiac didn't have that, and now we're slowly getting back there, but those are the two areas we need to focus, and that's why it stalled back then. And so
that is time.
Thank you. That's it.
Same question.
Good evening. And first of all, I want to thank Pontiac United and Oakland Forward and the Pontiac Housing Commission for organizing this great forum. It's probably the best organized forum I've ever attended. It's really, really well done. And as many of you know, I'm Tim Greimel, and as some of you know, I represented Pontiac for 12 years, first as a Oakland County Commissioner, and then as a state representative. And the best part of my job was working with thousands of Pontiac residents to help connect them with assistance and the services that they needed. I was able to work with them to connect them with social service benefits that they were owed, to connect them with assistance to repair their homes. And I was also able to protect many families from eviction and foreclosure. And during that time, I developed many great friendships here in the city of Pontiac with hundreds of residents, some of whom are like family to me. I love our community, and I'm proud to call Pontiac home. And the key to sustaining our city's renewal is investing in improved quality of life for everyone. I had the opportunity to do that as a state representative and as a county commissioner, as I said, connecting families with the services that they needed and helping them persevere through some very difficult times. And we have a lot of work ahead of us. We've got to fix our roads and plow the snow on time. We need a real, sustainable youth recreation program. And as we bring jobs and investment here, we need to do more to make sure that Pontiac residents get more of those jobs. Why has the renewal sometimes started and then faltered? I think a couple of reasons. One is the discord at City Hall. We need a mayor and city council who collaborate with one another, as well as with the broader community, residents, civic organizations, local small businesses.
That is time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, before we go into our second question, I want to make the audience abreast that several of you asked questions in similar fashion, just worded differently. We'll try to get to as many as we can, so if you don't hear your question worded in the way you presented it, don't worry. We have several of these questions in a different format. So the second question on the floor tonight is, where do you stand on the upcoming ballot proposal to create a new commission to potentially change the city's charter? Starting with Ms. Coates.
Yes, the charter is very important. And what we have to do, we have to make sure that we are working together. How I stand on a particular charter, I want to make sure that I get more information. Sometimes we have proposals and we have ballots and we may not always know what to do. So what I would like to do is just research the information, get more information, let other people know what's going on. And with the particular charter, we want to make sure that everybody knows exactly how to bring the unity in the community, how to move forward as we move forward in the next section of Pontiac. And that's how I would handle that situation. With the charter, it's very important. We have to make sure that we are on one accord. We have to make sure that we're clear, and we have to make sure that we're getting all the information that we need. And that's how we'll move forward with expertise and with all the information. That's it. Information, information, information is important, and that's how we make intelligent decisions.
Same question.
Thank you. Our current charter was adopted in the 1980s. And once it was adopted, it was meant for a city with a much more sizable population, in addition to city departments that were at the time insourced, and a different viewpoint than what we see now. But I will say this, our current charter has some very, very, very important and useful tools within it if used adequately. I think if you look with respect to the city's transition coming out of receivership, our charter lost its voice. Our charter was not adhered to and abided by. And because of that, we lost a lot of city assets. So when we look at the charter and we look at the original intent of what the charter was meant, and I'll give one quick example due to time limitations. Our wastewater treatment facility, we lost that. That was a public utility. In our charter, it says that anytime you have a public utility that is transferred, sold, what have you, it has to go before the will of the people. And so that's where I stand on the current charter right now and its revision. If it goes before the citizens of the city of Pontiac and the citizens decide to go through a revision and it comes back for a vote of the people and the people decide that, I will move forward and I will respect that as the will of the people. But as it stands right now, I think that our charter is good, it's purposeful, and it's useful, and it was adopted in a manner that still is relevant today. But if it's updated to reflect our current status, I will certainly work with that and enforce it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Mayor.
Our charter, which the most revised version was passed in 1981, reflects the will of this community, and it is the pillar upon which we stand and make our decisions, and I look toward it as the decisions that we make and how we move forward. But there are some things in that charter that are outdated now, and I can point to some specific examples. things that have changed now, but still in the charter are different. I'll say one of the things is, for example, in the charter that we have now, it does mandate a certain ratio of firefighters for the population, something that was meant for a higher population of people. I think back when we had 70,000, 80,000 people in the city of Pontiac. So, as one of the things people ask me is, how can we bring back our fire department into the city like we remembered? And I've done a feasibility study a couple different times to see when that's possible. One of the things that makes it financially not possible for us at this time, until we revise the charter, is that we would pay much more for fire services than our population demands right now. So we're kind of crippled by the fact that this has not been changed and brought to date. There's some other things in the charter that have been changed with time and practice and just need to be changed in the charter. Now, there was a previous charter revision committee elected by you some 5 years ago. I served on it for 2 years and then had to resign when I became a candidate for mayor. But you know, that charter revision commission did correct some of the changes in the charter, but it was not passed by the voters. So that's why, again, it comes to your attention. If there are some things that need to be changed by the will of the people, we can bring it back into alignment with the current circumstances of the city of Pontiac. But basically, that is the Bible we go by. It is the will of the people, and that is how I serve the people, by looking at the charter as the way the citizens have set up our charter.
Thank you. Same question.
The charter is the governing document of the city. And as you know, the city or the world has advanced since 1981. And you know, when reviewing the charter, when I reviewed the charter multiple times, you just slash sections like we don't have fire department, you know, the hospital, the police, things of these nature, those items. And so I 100% agree with updating the charter to fit our current needs of today. But you know, I will also challenge the citizens to please come out, and when we have these referendums and these meetings, state what you want to see the city be like. This is your governing document. This is how the city business is going to get ran. And then also, when it hits the ballot, please vote for it. And so, yeah, I 100% agree with changing the charter, putting a commission together, and please, when it does, you know, come out, have your voice heard, and please pass it, because like I said, this is how we're going to operate our city. And if we don't, we're going to be stuck back in 1981.
The city charter, as has been indicated, is really basically like the city's constitution. It's the governing document for the city. And certainly it's nearly 40 years old, and some of it could certainly be updated. And I think we can all think of aspects of the charter that should be updated. Other aspects of the charter, some of which are good aspects of the charter, unfortunately haven't been followed by city government. And so certainly I think there's always an opportunity to try to improve upon any document. We should constantly be taking a fresh look at the city charter as well as how the city does business. But I would just caution that we don't want to throw out some of the good things that are in the charter either. And we want to be cautious that we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. So I think one thing that would be helpful is if those who have supported changing the charter were a little more transparent and forthright about what specific changes they're looking for and why they decided to put this proposal on the ballot. And at the same time, and most importantly, it's imperative that we hear from all of you and other residents from across the city about what kinds of changes and improvements you'd like to see.
So we do have some individual questions for direct candidates. This one is for Mayor Waterman. Why are the children still in the rec center on Golf Drive when there is no insurance on the building? The children are currently considered squatters.
First, I can correct the misconception that there is no insurance. There is insurance on the youth recreation program for all of our children. So that is a misconception that has been stated by our city attorneys. I would not run any program in which any of our children were put at harm's risk. So I can assure you of that, that move forward. But one of the things that I'm glad this question brings to mind is that one of the most important things I think we have done with the vote of the millage that passed by the voters is that we wanted to bring youth recreation and enrichment back to the children of Pontiac. And so you passed that millage, one mill for 10 years, in which you wanted to make sure that the children under the age of 21 could avail themselves of the services, youth services. And we brought them back. We brought them back with enrichment programs, recreation programs. We now have over 3,000 families in the city of Pontiac whose children avail themselves of the youth recreation services in one way or another. And one of the things that has been a dream of mine is to bring back a youth recreation center to the city of Pontiac. 820 Gulf Drive was a temporary place. We are phasing that down now as the lease has expired. And we're now developing pop-up sites around the city, even opening the streets at certain parks so children can have open street play and make it more accessible to our children. United Wholesale Mortgage, the soccer arena right down the street from here, which is going to put $10 million into that soccer arena to build 8 basketball courts and to make it a wonderful community center. I was able to negotiate a deal with them, and our children for the Youth Recreation Center are now using that site, that wonderful soccer arena. And in the fall, we're going to have our jam session there when they have the 8 basketball fields completed in October. So that's a wonderful opportunities for children. You know, I got into politics because I wanted to build a children's reading room in the library because the children are the youth and our future and our investment.
And we do want to remind the candidates that you do have 3 rebuttal cards to use. All candidates, you have 3 rebuttal cards to use. We just want to remind you.
Okay, this will be another question for each candidate to give an opportunity to answer because it is a hot and button issue. We have maybe 30 cards speaking to the same thing. How would you support affordable housing initiative in the city of Pontiac with so many people burdened and dealing with slumlords? We'll start with you, Tim.
Yeah. Well, it's a really important question, and I would say a few things. Number one, we need to do more to attract housing investment to Pontiac while simultaneously holding them accountable to high standards. We do have too much slum housing in the city, and we need to crack down on it. We've been too tolerant of slum landlords. It's a terrible form of blight, not just for the tenants, but also to the entire neighborhood. We also need to do more to empower tenants to stand up for themselves by connecting them with legal resources and by making sure that tenants know their legal rights. The other thing that I would say is that the Pontiac Housing Commission is launching an exciting renovation of Carriage Circle, which should improve the housing stock there while maintaining its affordability. But we need to do more, I think, to ensure affordability at other locations and privately held and privately owned housing throughout the city. One way to do that is anytime that the city uses tax incentives to attract housing developments to Pontiac, we need to require that a certain percentage of that housing is made affordable to the median income in Pontiac. That's critically important. The other thing that I would say is we've got to do more to promote homeownership in the city. There are a lot of grant dollars out there. There are a lot of programs that we should be going after to try to increase home affordability and make sure that more Pontiac residents are transitioning from renters to homeowners. And we have, I think, a great opportunity to do that, but the city has not had a full-time grant writer there, and we need to pursue federal and state dollars and bring those to Pontiac for those initiatives, and also pursue foundation dollars to make that a reality.
That's your time.
Thank you. Go ahead. Same question, Jeremy.
So one of my ideas is a central database of all the renters who or landlords who own property here in the city of Pontiac and renting them out. Also, we need a strong code enforcement. We need people walking around checking out these places where people are renting, making sure that they're livable. A lot of these owners are out of state and they only care about the profit margin and not the people. Secondly, one of my many jobs, along with being an attorney, I'm a real estate agent. There are a lot of dollars, as Tim said, out there that people are not tapping into for home ownership. Like banks really want you to be homeowners, and if you have an aggressive city that provides the information, or a realtor, I had a client who got $5,000 through a federal grant program through Huntington Bank, and she brought to the table maybe $2,000 on a $185,000 house in this market. We have to bring that to our people because, as Tim said, this city, I've been here since '88. It went from a homeowner to a renter city. And so when you have that, you don't have people who care about your community because they're not living in the community. And so we need to return power back to home ownership, and that'll return our communities back to where they used to be. So we need code enforcement, we need maybe City Hall, partner with maybe Keller Williams or some real estate company to say, help our citizens become homeowners, but make it affordable for them through grants and other programming.
Same question, Mayor.
Affordable housing, this is one of the most important things for a mayor to know that their citizens has quality, affordable places to live. And Pontiac now has the biggest building boom in affordable housing, building in general, but also affordable housing in 20 years. For example, along University, we now have the duplex that is now known as Winston Commons that is going up. That's going to be affordable housing. We have the Hamilton that went up, that was recently built. That is affordable housing. We have been cultivating developers to come and bring affordable housing so people have more quantity and choices. We've worked with the Pontiac Housing Authority to make sure that they have gone through the RAD process to bring up to standard and par our own city housing, and worked with the Pontiac Housing Authority to do that. I've worked with them and signed the paperwork to make sure that process moved along. In addition, there are 43 pilots in the city, and some of them have bad management and some of them are deplorable. And as they have come up for renewal, I will not sign their renewals for MISHDA, and the council stands with me on that. They said we're going to put strong scrutiny on our pilots. Nobody's going to be taken advantage of, and the city of Pontiac underwrite that. So as these pilots have come up for renewal, we've stood and made sure that they had standards, and we're going to renew them every 10 years and have clawbacks. We're just not going to let them stand for 30 years and continue to do this service to our citizens. So those are the things we are doing in terms of providing affordable housing. And as I said, we've got the biggest building boom in Pontiac since, I guess, the early days of General Motors, from what people tell us. And that's because we've been able to attract new developers who now see Pontiac as a good place to come and bring their business and their developments. So we're proud of that, but we're going to continue to build and continue to thrive. And one of the things for our homeowners is that as we have stabilized our neighborhoods, the property values have gone up.
Okay. Same question, Alexandra.
Thank you, DeMar. In my current role as the Director of Development for the Genesee County Land Bank Authority, I work daily to promote affordable housing and housing opportunities for residents, and it's an issue that I'm passionate about. I have a background. I am a licensed real estate broker. In addition to that, I am a licensed residential builder. And the real question isn't necessarily what we're tasked to do as elected officials to promote affordable housing, but it's changing the culture. Somehow Pontiac has created a culture that went from a culture of homeowners to a culture of renters, and we have to change that. I see a lot of residents. I'm the former vice president of the Pontiac Housing Commission, and very proud of the work that we were able to do on that board while I served. When I first was appointed to the Housing Commission board, the Housing Commission was in a troubled housing status. Thanks to the board's direction and the work with Mr. Taylor, Ms. Transu, we were able to move the Housing Commission out of troubled status into a model agency, and also to save millions of dollars from federal funding for affordable housing being disbanded to outside agencies and keep it within Pontiac. But Pontiac residents, if you would like to purchase a home, you should be able to follow the steps to create wealth and equity through home ownership. And with respect to blight, and the city should be a partner in that by partnering with local foundations and banks in creating affordable housing opportunities through housing developments, as well as opportunities to promote home ownership directly within the city of Pontiac. And with respect to blight, we need to have an equitable, fair system across the board. Pontiac renters should be confident that there won't be retaliation to them if they file any type of complaints. And also, I have a plan to institute a Pontiac property portal. And that property portal will be a GIS mapping system that will show property owners, property occupancy status. In addition,
That is time.
that's my time.
Yes,
Thank you.
sorry.
Same question as Coach.
Yes, hi, Wanda Denise. What we would like to do, we have to build a strong community. We have to rebuild, renew, and restore. I'm also a licensed real estate agent, I'm a social worker, and I'm a federal grant writer. There is tons of money available. Our president just passed a community development bill where we're gonna have billions of dollars available. Also, I remember about a couple years ago, Flagstar, I believe they got a couple $1 million for the city of Pontiac for first-time homeowners. So what we want to do, we want to rebuild, restore, and renew Pontiac. How do we do it? We hold landlords accountable. I've been in the community and I spoke to a lot of people and I've seen. And basically we know that it's time for change. We have to build new homes. It's nice if we build. Our former Deputy Mayor Jane, she was on the economic development team for Berkeley. If we remember, most homes in the United States of America, especially in Michigan, was built about 1900s. So our homes are 100 years old. It's time to rebuild, meaning put new homes with the older homes and bring up the property value. What I also want to do, because I'm a visual person, we want to build these homes right here in the city of Pontiac. 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, living room, dining room, family room. This is what we do to build Pontiac, and we make it affordable. We could make these homes as affordable as $500 a month for rent. We could sell them for at least $299. That's a good price. And then what we want to do too, this is our layout. We want to see, everyone can see this. So basically, in addition to that, we want to also make sure that we are hiring local contractors. I have so many people come up to me that have lived in Pontiac all their lives and they cannot get these contracts. We want to make sure that we have our contract for our builders, for our landscaping companies, and for everyone. Building City of Pontiac. Thank you. Sorry.
This question is for Jeremy Bowie. It says, please provide information on your qualifications to provide leadership as Pontiac's mayor.
Yes, so once again, I am a realtor when it comes to, and an attorney, when it comes to interpreting contracts, knowing what goes in contracts, sitting at the negotiation table, creating win-win situations. I've done that. I'm an advocate. As a real estate agent, I navigate with my clients through the complexities of the real estate market and get them homes. As an attorney, I advise or advocate on behalf of a former Wayne County prosecutor of domestic violence victims, getting them justice in court. Also now as a criminal defense attorney, I'm a mentor where I advise students to go ahead and go to college. And so those are my qualifications. I was able to this is my first ever election, public election. No problems getting on the ballot. No problems filing my campaign finance. I am a competent, I'm an ethical person. I know what my strengths are, I know what my weaknesses are, and I know that I can lead this city going forward. I'm also connected to the youth, and so those are my qualifications, and that's why I'm running.
Thank you. And this question came from the audience for Alexandra Riley. As a real estate broker and builder, what projects or development have you done in Pontiac and or Oakland County?
What you say, as a real estate broker and
a builder, what projects or developments have you done in Pontiac or in Oakland County?
Project development. As a private builder, I've done numerous rehabs. In addition to that, upgrades and service to properties as far as remodels and assistance. I've also provided assistance to many families and assisted them in the process of achieving home ownership, of building wealth, of building equity. And I will continue to do that as mayor of the city of Pontiac. I will work with developers. I work with the Michigan, with MISHDA, with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, as well as with environmental agencies, the EPA, along with EGLE, to go into the city and go into development with a thoughtful mind and making sure that environmental considerations are placed first, as well as being innovative and doing development in the city where it promotes home ownership and it fosters affordability for our residents, as well as uplifting the value overall for our city.
Thank you.
This question is for everyone. City retirees have been without health care for 8 years. What, in your opinion, has been the primary reason for this major, unnecessary problem? And what, in your opinion, is the solution to preventing this from ever occurring again? We'll be starting with Ms. Wanda Coates.
That is a major problem. I feel that this problem came about because not great management in a great way. We have to make sure that our city officials and our city employees are going to be well taken care of. There's no way that anyone should have been in that situation. And how do we solve those problems? Moving forward, we have to make sure that the policies and the procedures in the city is going forth correctly. We have to make sure that we're implementing great things. We have to make sure that each employee and each retiree has what they need in order to move forward. We have to make sure their benefits are going to come through. We have to make sure that we're bringing unity into the community, and that's how we're going to move forward. I understand. I was on the website with the city website the other night, and I saw those situations. I know that they're being compensated, but what happens in the meantime? No one wants to have that situation. That's why we have to have a heart for the city. If we had a heart for the city in the beginning, we wouldn't even have this conversation. So moving forward, we have to make sure we have good management, good planning, and doing everything that we need to do to bring the unity in the community, to make sure that our employees and our retirees are being fairly treated. And that's what needs to happen moving forward.
Same question.
It used to be a badge of honor to say that I work for the city of Pontiac, or that I work for the city of Pontiac and I retired from the city of Pontiac. What has happened to our retirees has been unacceptable, embarrassing, hurtful, and just outright wrong. For almost a decade, our retirees have gone without health care. That is unacceptable. And the administration has not moved forward, has stalled in submitting IRS documentation, and now during election season, we see that advancements have been made. But in the meantime, are we going to go back? Those that have lost their homes, those that have lost their lives, are we going to go back and look at their survivors and their families and restore any type of, because the loss of health care has also meant the loss of life insurance. So we've lost, I grew up in City Hall. We just recently lost Larry Marshall, the HR professional for the city of Pontiac. We lost Beverly Stubbs within the last few months. These are individuals that did not have health care and could not move forward with the quality of life that was guaranteed to them by the city of Pontiac. As mayor, I will not allow that to continue.
Same question.
Well, let me bring you up to date on what's happening about
We can have a conversation.
Retiree health care and the city for the citizens of Pontiac. This is personal to me. The emergency manager terminated health care to our retirees back in 2014, and the Retirees Association sued the emergency manager. That is a lawsuit which, if the city had lost and had not been mediated, would have turned the city back to bankruptcy adversely. So it was very important to me as I became mayor to make sure that we mediated that in a way that we fulfilled the promise to our retirees that ably serve the citizens of Pontiac to make sure their health gets retired. And with the things that are going right now, and we'll bring you up to date on that, we've gone through mediation, we've had the settlement, we have a plan to restore retiree health care. We have created a new VIBA. The first time this has ever been done anywhere in the United States by any municipality. That's why it's so novel. And it is anticipated that by October 1st of this year, our retirees will have their health care restored if all goes well. But this is a plan that had to go through the IRS. The IRS had to evaluate it so that the health care benefits were tax-free. We didn't want them to be taxed. And so that was so novel that the IRS took a long time to look at that. But it just so happens that this Tuesday, and we just sent the council agenda packet to council, this Tuesday, we have the attorneys who have the ordinance amendments necessary to move this forward so the new VIBA can start issuing health care to our retirees. So for every retiree who's been waiting, I feel for you. We're hard. We spent 2.5 years in mediation to make sure that you had your health care restored. And their letters have gone out to tell people not only are we going to restore that, but we found out with all the actuaries that I've worked with that because of the overfunding in our system, in our pension system, that we can actually increase the monthly benefits of our retirees per month, and the council has to vote on that Tuesday.
I think it's very unfortunate that you give your life to your job in your city, and then at the end of it, you don't have any health care. That is ridiculous. And so when you have an issue, you work backwards. You figure out what went wrong. And what went wrong is the economic foundation of this city. The money was rolling in. When money is rolling in, look at the 90s, right? Stock market going crazy. Every CEO got a Learjet. But what happened? When that housing market popped, when that stock market crashed, the financial market started bleeding. That's where you have to look here in Pontiac, that when these hardworking people lost their benefits, you go backwards and you say, what did Pontiac do to ensure that people will have health care going forward? And so as mayor of the city of Pontiac, anyone who works in City Hall will have health care even when they retire. And so that's my plan.
This is an issue very near and dear to my heart. We're talking about individuals here, retired city workers, who dedicated, in many cases, their entire adult lives to serving the residents and people of Pontiac. And they did so because they cared about this city, but they also did so based on contracts and promises from the city, not only that they would get paid wages while they were working, but that they would be guaranteed retiree health care. And the emergency manager taking that away from them was unconscionable. And it's also unconscionable that it's taken almost 8 years under the current elected leadership to begin to restore it. And
please hold all applause, comments, and remarks until the end.
What a lot of people don't know is that when the Detroit bankruptcy legislation was moving through the legislature, the majority in the legislature tried to sneak in language to that legislation that would have prohibited retirees in Pontiac and in Flint from getting their retiree benefits restored. And I discovered that language in that legislation, and I worked with my colleagues from Flint to make sure that that was stripped out of that legislation, or not a single Democrat would have voted for that bill. And I've dedicated my whole adult life to fighting for working people. I did it as a labor and civil rights attorney, I did it in the legislature, and I do it in my current job working for the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. There should be no doubt of which side I'm on. I've spent my entire life fighting for everyday people and retirees and workers. And I guarantee you that when I'm mayor, we will make this right.
We have Ms. Wanda Coates with a rebuttal.
Also, I would like to add, because we are part of the Affordable Cares Act, not only retirees, but everyone needs health insurance. There's a lot of young people that don't have health care insurance. And also, what about people when we leave here? We need life insurance also. So those are some things that, as mayor, I want to enforce. I want to make sure everyone have health insurance, because the Affordable Cares Act allows that to happen now. You could get it from $300 to $500 a month. You can afford it. I want to make sure that everybody have life insurance so that you can leave something for your family. And I also are working together to get lower insurance on your car rates, and also everyone needs insurance for their home and for renter's insurance. So insurance is so important. That's what I want to add.
Thank you. So this will be another question for each candidate, and over the past 20 years, we've had everyone who's run for this position say that they're going to work hand in hand with council, and it has not seemed to happen. So how would you specifically address the culture of infighting, lawsuits, and division that has grown between the mayor's office and city council? And so they are asking a specific way that you have a plan on trying to mediate this. So we'll start at this end with Tim.
Yeah. Well, this more than any other challenge at City Hall is essential for us to resolve. The city is not going to move forward unless the mayor and city council collaborate with one another. And that's why I mentioned that in my opening comments whenever I speak in public, because it is essential for all elected officials at City Hall to work with one another. The mayor's not going to accomplish anything alone. City council's not going to accomplish anything alone. Only by bringing our city and our elected officials together are we going to find solutions to solve our most pressing challenges. And I have a long proven track record of being able to collaborate with elected officials and other stakeholders to deliver results. I did it as a county commissioner, working in a diverse county commission with diverse backgrounds, diverse ideologies, working across the aisle. And I did it as a state representative, again, working with very diverse people in the state legislature from very different backgrounds with very different views. And by working with them, I was able to lead the charge successfully to expand Medicaid coverage, to cover 700,000 Michigan residents who lacked health insurance before, including many thousands here in Pontiac. I was able to secure state funding for a major job training program here in the city of Pontiac through OLSA, and I was able to renew millions of dollars in funding for school-based health centers, including centers at Pontiac High, Pontiac Middle School, and Walt Whitman Elementary School. When we work together, there is no limit to what we can accomplish here in Pontiac.
Same question, Mr. Boyd.
City council and the mayor are the face of the city. And if they cannot be on one accord, then how can we effectively transact the business of the city? People are going to disagree. That's democracy. Democracy is disagreement, but it's cordial. It advances the city, it advances the nation. And so that's the first step. Me as mayor, setting the culture of, you're not gonna like everything I want to do or say, I'm not gonna like everything you want to do or say. But we both have to be on the same page to move Pontiac forward. And so, ideas to reach, one of the things we can do is have a parliamentarian in our meetings. Someone there shutting down and just keeping us on the flow of business. You know, none of the backbiting, the vitriol, the cynicism. Because when you see that in Washington, D.C., there's somebody on a local level, there's families struggling on a local level. That's the same way here in Pontiac. When you turn on that TV and you see City of Pontiac and you see people fighting and telling people to be quiet and logging off Zoom and all that, that is a representation of our city. And also, there is somebody in the streets who may need something, a resolution passed by council or something passed by the mayor that may affect their life. And if we can't get past us being adults and cordially disagreeing and moving on, this city will not move forward. I am a big proponent on teamwork. As I said, there was times I had a case filed and I went to my supervisor like, I don't think we're going to be successful at trial. The facts are not good for us. I think we should do what we need to do. I disagree with the decision, but we came to an agreement and we moved forward. And that's how you move a city, that's how you move a county, a state, and a nation.
Same question, Mayor.
One of the things that was very important to me as I decided to heed the solicitation of several groups who asked me to run for mayor the first time, and I too had watched the long history of the infighting and the debates at council meeting that was embarrassing to the city, and that was distressing to businesses that would want to come here. And I said, if I run, I will do it in a way that's professional and that will be proud to the city. And people credit me with the fact of bringing a new tenure because, as you see, with my history of being able to bring people together and lead organizations, I keep my eyes on the prize. People can be disagreeable and disagree about facts and about policies, but you don't have to be disagreeable if you disagree. And that's one thing I've learned how to do. So we've accomplished a lot. All the things that we've accomplished that anybody who knows about the pendulum of success that Pontiac is on can see that. But it's important for me to represent the city with pride, to keep your eye on the prize, to talk about the issues and not to have the harangues and the baiting that goes forward from some people. And to that, I will continue to do that. That's the only way I know how to carry ourselves and to represent the city with dignity. And if I continue to serve you, that is what I will do, and to bring pride to our city, which we have. And we remember that there are 60,000 people out there who I'm trying to serve as a city. We aren't always going to agree on things, but the point is that we move forward, that we bring ways to resolve that, and that we bring issues to the citizens as well to get your viewpoint. One of the things that we'll talk about, I hope more, is the $37 million that we fought for that's coming through federal funding because of COVID. They were only going to send us $5.8 million, but we fought. Went to the legislature to get that 37, and we'll talk about how the citizens want to spend that.
Same question, Ms. Riley. Oh, hold on, Tim has a rebuttal.
Well, it's not entirely a rebuttal, but I do just want to emphasize, because this topic is incredibly important, that mutual respect is earned. And as mayor, I pledge to timely inform City Council of new information. I pledge to make sure to work with City Council and seek their input and feedback as I develop proposals, not just plop already developed proposals on the City Council agenda at the last minute. It's a two-way street, and I will treat City Council members as the true partners they are. And that's essential if we're going to get along and work together for the good of people in the city.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Riley. Yep.
I joke around and I say that I am the child that the village raised. The very first election that I ever worked in, I was 8 years old working in Maddie McKinney Hatchett's election. I grew up mentored by the late, great Charlie Harrison Jr., Walter Moore, and I've worked with or had some association or involvement throughout all the administrations that I can think of within that lifetime. And my grandmother and my mother have always been involved. And my grandmother would always tell me that growing up, when we changed our system of government to a strong mayor form of government, and when she worked in Wallace Holland's campaign, and the culture of the politics back then, when all the smoke cleared, when all the dust settled, it was one team. That team was the city of Pontiac. We came together, we worked together for the betterment of the city. I look across this audience right now and I see a lot of familiar faces. I see a lot of our elected officials, our former elected officials. I respect and I recognize and I honor any person within our city that has stepped forward and taken the mantle of leadership to move our city forward. As mayor, I pledge to work with city council because that's the foundation. I will treat council members with respect. I will engage them in the decision-making process. I will solicit their involvement and their support. And when I say that's the foundation, that lets the rest of the community and outside business people or businesses or organizations know that we have a welcoming environment. It is okay to come to Pontiac and do business. It is okay, and it is good to invest and buy a home and live in the city of Pontiac. And that foundational benchmark is set between the relationship between the mayor and the city council. And I know that we're always—
That is time.
Thank you.
Same question, Ms. Coates.
You know, as I hear all of us, is passion. If we look at the city of Pontiac, it was founded in 1818, correct? And as we move forward with Pontiac that has 20.28 square mile radius of land, we have to represent the city better. We as politicians, I as your mayor, I'm elected by you, the people, and we have to make sure that we're professional and that we are setting a good stage for the city. Why? Because that's how we're going to get more jobs. That's how we're going to get more housing. That's how we're going to get more funding to the community. Right now, I've been so blessed. I've been able to speak to the billionaires. I know who they are. They know me. I sit down and meet with the millionaires. They know who they are, and they know me. I sit and meet with the people that's been here in Pontiac all their life, and they want change. And how do we do it? We got to have better relationship with our mayor and our city council. How do we do this? We have to come together, rise up together, and bring unity in the community. One thing that I would do, because I've been through it already, I'm a visual person, we have to have professional development training. That's how we do that. All staff members, including myself as Mayor Wanda Denise and my city council, we will go through weekly professional development training. And this is a chart here. We'll go through this, we'll get certificates, and we'll have mediation. That's how we build the city, renew the city, and go forward in the correct direction. Because once again, we're voted by the people. We have to make sure, as I am Mayor Wanda Denise Coates, I want to represent you well. You're supposed to look at me and say, that's a reflection of me. And if we're not communicating correctly, if we're being unprofessional across the board, I've been at those city council meetings. I've seen it on Facebook. And once again, you have a lot of people that have passion for the city, that really want to invest, but they won't do it until they see professionals. Sorry about that. Thank you.
And we have a rebuttal from Mayor Waterman.
Yes, and I think this is a really important question for the city, and I didn't get a chance to finish my thought before, so I would like to talk about that a little bit more. And that is respect. Respect that is just in my DNA for every human being, and certainly with the colleagues that we work with as council. So I carry that with me as a mandate. But it's also important for the respect for our community, respect for Pontiac. And I see that in other communities, and as we try to bring in businesses and residents here, they see those council meetings, and I can go out and encourage them to come to the city and talk about the benefits of being in Pontiac and how we're no longer a pay-to-play city, that we have good permitting processes and development processes in the city of Pontiac. And that's why Amazon is here. They didn't just fall into our lap. It came because I took our group and I told them that we're ready to bring this kind of development. They believed me, they went back and got approval to bring Amazon to the city of Pontiac. And that is a huge stamp of approval. That was a company that doesn't come to every city, but they came to Pontiac because we went to them and said to them, we have the kind of city that will support you and bring the jobs that you have. They're going to be hiring 3,000 to 5,000 people, delivering packages from Amazon, that fulfillment center that is 4 times as big as the Silverdome, right here in Pontiac. And that's the kind of respect we get when we carry that image that we can work together and that we have the kind of consistency of leadership in city government that brings that respect to our community. that you see so many companies now are coming and bringing jobs and economic development.
This question is for Alexandria. What do you plan to do about the unregistered rentals? And when will you register your rental properties and fix them up?
Thank you. In terms of rental, it go back to the same question, and that is changing the culture of renters in Pontiac to home ownership. As far as the question, as far as registering my rental property, I don't have any rental property right now that is unregistered. I currently work in Genesee County as the Director of Development for the Land Bank Authority. My work, my job is to promote and to create affordable housing opportunities and to develop quality, sustainable developments within Genesee County. I'm doing that work there. I enjoy what I do. It promotes equity for the culture, but I would love to be doing that back home here where I have expertise and a sense of understanding, and I have the relationships with individuals at MISTA, with the Michigan State Land Bank, within federal agencies as well, to bring resources directly to the city that will impact our residents and our way of life in a very positive way. Thank you.
All right, this question is directed for Mayor Waterman. Why hasn't the Ewald Center been revitalized before now, and is it true several potential buyers tried to buy it before now?
Would you repeat that, please?
Why hasn't the Ewald Center been revitalized before now? Also, is it true that several potential buyers tried to purchase it before now?
Yes, there were no legitimate offers for that was accepted by council. Of course, council would have to accept any offer that came for the Ewald Center. So we had some people who were kicked the tires, but never came up with any real money to purchase the Ewald Center, just for truth. But we have some breaking news on the Ewald Center. One of the things, and I know that's beloved by the citizens of Pontiac, that's one of the only 4 of the recreation centers that we had that is still in the ownership of the citizens of Pontiac. We own that, and it's on a beautiful Galloway Park. So one of the things that, as we're trying to find a place to have a permanent center, the Ewald Center has become the focus of that once again. You may have heard some comments at council meeting Tuesday evening in terms of the fact that we are looking at that to seeing, I've already got a feasibility study of what it would take to renovate that from HRC, pass that along to council. It is a building that is salvageable, but for $12 million, we can also expand upon it and make a state-of-the-art youth recreation center. So we have gotten now a couple celebrity people who've come in and said, we want to help Pontiac have a drive to build that into a state-of-the-art center. Tommy Hearns, state boxing champion, as well as Lomas Brown, NFL football star from the Detroit Lions, were here just 2 days ago, and they said, we want to help you lead the effort to restore that. So you're going to see, I think we put some fencing around there and started to clean off and clean the graffiti. That is possible. And also the ARP money that's coming in, that $37 million, one of the things I'm going to ask council to do is to maybe use some of that money to help to restore that Ewald Center. And not only that, there's so many other things that we can bring to that beautiful Galloway Park as well. So that is something that's very much on the hopper. I hope we're going to work with council. Boys and Girls Clubs, which I brought back to the city of Pontiac. All right.
This question is for Tim Grimmel. If you served for 12 years in Pontiac, how come you haven't moved into Pontiac until now?
So I've been very open and transparent about this. I moved to Pontiac a year ago. I've been very open and direct about that. I represented several communities, both when I was an Oakland County Commissioner and as a state representative. And as I said earlier, the best part about my job was working with thousands of Pontiac residents and connecting them with needed services and resources. I got to know thousands of people here in the city, people who I developed deep friendships with. I wanted to get more involved in this community because I love Pontiac and I am proud to make it my home.
Mr. Bowie has a rebuttal.
I'm just wondering, is Pontiac in the 12th U.S. Congressional District? Or is it in the 14th Congressional District? Because you ran for U.S. Congress 12th District, which Pontiac is not in. So would your love for Pontiac still be there if you were representing a district on the U.S. Congress level? That's just my question.
Well, can I respond to the question that's being asked?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I have absolutely no plans to run for Congress. Redistricting is about to happen, and nobody knows what the districts will look like because they'll totally change in the fall. And so my coming to Pontiac is based solely on my love for this community and my longtime service representing Pontiac. And again, I'm proud to call Pontiac home. I am here for the long haul.
And we have another rebuttal.
Yes, Candidate Bowie, I'm glad you brought that up because I would also like to ask the question, yes, take one of those, about you have recently moved into the city, but can you explain the statement that was on this campaign filing that I have right here that has been brought to our attention that says as of January, and it's with your signature signed here, January 20th, 2021, that said as of April, let me find the exact date, of January 21st, you still gave as Auburn Hills as your address. And so that would have made you ineligible because you have to be a resident of the city of Pontiac by our charter that we talked about for a year before the election occurs. So somehow, although some of the rest of us were thrown off the ballot for our errors, you said that yours was a clerical error. Well, aren't they all clerical errors? And you were allowed to correct this after the deadline. So it seems to be that's selective enforcement, and I don't know how you got away with that, but I certainly have a lot of people who ask me why were you allowed to do that. And I've been a resident here 50 years. I'm not moving into Pontiac, care about Pontiac, love the city, and so I'd just like to have you talk about why this happened and why you were allowed to do that.
Yeah, I welcome that opportunity. Let me begin by saying they're not all clerical errors. The mayor actually did not file any campaign finance disclosures for 2 years.
Please keep all comments,
applause,
and remarks.
And she was removed from the ballot because she signed an affidavit under oath saying that she was up to date with her campaign finance disclosures when in fact she wasn't. In my case, this relates to an old county commission campaign account that, unlike others, I have been very diligent about filing campaign finance disclosures because I believe that the public has a right to know where my campaign's money comes from and how I spend my campaign's money. And in fact, on the previous county commission statement, before the one referenced by the mayor, I did in fact correctly list my address as Pontiac. The only reason why the address on the form referenced by the mayor was incorrect is that it was an annual return, and the previous year's annual return was used as a template, and we forgot to change that address. Ultimately, the buck stops with me in that regard. Nobody flagged it at the county clerk's office. As soon as I became aware of it, we changed it the very same day. But let me just emphasize one thing. Unlike some politicians around the state and locally, I've been open and transparent about where I live. I will never pretend to live somewhere when in fact some people live elsewhere.
Thank you. This will be a question for all the candidates. We have a few hot button issues that's taking place within the city, and one being the approval of the medical marijuana and also being the legislation with the Pontiac Phoenix Center. We would like to know where each candidate stands on both issues. We'll start with Wanda.
Really quickly, I just want to say something too as we talked about addresses and everything. You all could go and check it out yourself. I am the candidate that was the candidate and the canvasser on all 300 of my petitions. I am the first candidate on the list for Oakland County March 23rd to go into this right now. So I just want to tell you that my heart and my soul has been there, and you all could do the research yourself. As we relate to the two questions that you just asked, medical marijuana, I want to give you facts. As always, I'm giving you information. I have went and done training on medical marijuana. And then let me tell you really quickly, because we got to stop the rumors. 2018, the city of Pontiac, we had an ordinance that was approved for unlimited number of growers, processors, and secure transporters. We had about 100 applicants apply at $5,000 a piece, non-refundable funds. With that, we want to make sure that we follow the protocols. Some of the protocols for the medical marijuana, and we know that a lot of it is recreational, we have to make sure that the person is at least 21 years old or older. The hours that I'll operate as mayor, as mayor, Wanda Denise, we got to make sure it's going to be open from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. And also, there were 20 rules and regulations as it relates to the medical marijuana. Some things that we want to make sure we reinforce. We got to make sure that the city has capital investment in the city. We got to make sure, we got to realize that the medical marijuana is a billion-dollar business and everyone should benefit. We have to make sure that the economic benefits for the city jobs will be achieved. We have to make sure that the proposed community outreach education strategies, and one more, 10% goes
it
to
is
the,
time.
I'm sorry, 10% goes to the nonprofits.
Same question.
I
Yes.
apologize.
My position on medical marijuana, to be quite frank, is irrelevant. In 2018, Pontiac voters passed a referendum in favor of it. And since that time, there has been no action from the administration. I pledge that as mayor, on day one, whatever the issue is between the city clerk's office and the mayor's office, I plan on moving forward to resolve that issue so that the will of the people in the city of Pontiac is honored. And I'm going to take it a step further and say this. That election was significant. It was notably significant because a large number, an increase in young people came out and voted in favor of medical marijuana. We tell our young people that their vote counts, their vote matters, but yet we do nothing to honor the will of the people and acknowledge what their vote meant. Right now, moving forward, signals a much greater task than just acknowledging what was on the ballot. Our democracy and the confidence in our democracy is at stake. We must move forward in that. And secondly, with respect to the Phoenix Center development deal, I think a lot of details with respect to that deal have yet to be disclosed. I think the city council is still waiting on information from that. But on its surface, roughly a $20 million deal. We sold it to our development partner, the two towers, for $6 million and gave them a 10-year with 10 options to renew control of the Phoenix Center parking garage. So I think it's disingenuous for me at this point to say what I feel or what I believe with respect to the Phoenix Center development deal, because I don't think all the details have been disclosed, and transparency matters.
Thank you. Same question there.
Yes, the Phoenix Center, I'll deal with that first. I think you said the litigation. There is no litigation anymore. That was the benefit of creating this public-private partnership that saved the citizens of Pontiac from potentially paying a $30 million default judgment. That's what we saved by doing that deal. Now, it's not just the $6 million that they paid for to do this deal, but also the fact that there's $20 million worth of repairs that the citizens will not have to pay for, because that's part of the deal. They have to pay for those repairs, and they're starting to do that. So that has been something that required us to make sure we didn't default on the litigation. We had a settlement agreement, and we were able to move forward. So the citizens will not have to bear the brunt of any of those expenses for doing the repairs that need to be done. And at the State of the City, I gave all of you citizens a chance to see what the possibility and the potential for that Phoenix Center is, but we lit up the top of that to say, help is on the way. We're going to be able to use that Phoenix Center Amphitheater again. It's still ours. We don't lose it like we lost the Silver Dome, like we lost the wastewater treatment plant, like we lost Lab 9. It is still owned by you, the citizens of Pontiac, and you get to use it. And we're going to be able to revitalize that. And there's some thoughts about expanding upon that, including maybe building a new library. But there's lots of future vision that we put into place by the fact that we won that lawsuit and got that settled with a public-private partnership and bringing in equity partners. The other question you asked was about the
medical marijuana.
The what?
The medical marijuana.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The medical marijuana.
Medical marijuana, yes, yes. Medical marijuana, that was passed by the voters by one vote. But nonetheless, that's the will of the voters. And so that's what we have. I like to say that it was passed by young people because medical marijuana is to the younger generation what Prohibition and Jack Daniels was to the older generation. So it's just the time here. So we want to bring economic development and that, into town. So that I can talk about
Mr.
that
Boyd.
more.
Yes. I think the question of my qualifications, one way that it makes me qualified is being able to look at a deal and understand that I'm not going to put my city under terms of a contract when I know we don't have the money to fully perform. And that's what happened with the Phoenix Center at first. We promised to make repairs to the Phoenix Center under this contract knowing we were cash strapped. You know, that wasn't a pop quiz that we didn't have money. And so now as we advance to this point, we have to backdoor our way into a deal so the Pontiac citizens won't have to pay $30 million because when you don't perform under a contract, then a person seeking performance gets damages. And so my thing with the Phoenix Center is we need a grocery store. We need a grocery store here in Pontiac. That would have been perfect to be downtown, and what that is foot traffic for all of the businesses downtown who need people to come and patronize their stores. And so, the Phoenix Center is here to stay. We're going to make the best of it, but I think at the end of the day, something more important needed to be put down there, and I think a grocery store would have been better. But that's neither here nor there at this point. Medical marijuana. Here's my deal. Black folks have been criminalized by medical marijuana with convictions. They can't get jobs because of convictions on their record and things of that nature. If medical marijuana is going to proliferate in the city of Pontiac, I need minorities to have a stake in that at the bottom. And we also need to expunge their records. When they have these marijuana convictions on their records, we should, the city, help them get that expunged and then also put training and programming together so they can get at the ground floor of the medical marijuana industry. I go back to when Madam C.J. Walker, the first black millionaire woman millionaire in the hair industry. When you look at the hair industry now and the makeup industry, we are behind. This was started by a black woman, and we don't have much equity in this. And so if we're going to have medical marijuana, minorities, blacks, indigenous, and people of color need to be on the ground floor.
Thank you. Same question, Tim.
Yeah. First of all, I strongly agree with the expungement comment. We still have people in prison for doing things that are now legal, and they're still sitting in prison because at the time they did it, it was illegal, and that's wrong. Totally agree about the need for expungement as a matter of basic social justice and human dignity. In regard to the lawsuits, these really encapsulate some of the poor decision-making we've seen at City Hall. In the case of the Phoenix Center, the emergency manager started this litigation, but the current administration continued it for 5 to 7 years, depending on when you want to decide when the actual end of that litigation was. And that resulted in wasting millions of dollars in taxpayer dollars, residents' dollars, your dollars, and we still don't yet have a development there, although I'm cautiously optimistic that we will see some real progress there soon. In the context of medical marijuana, it is important that we respect the will of the voters, number one. It's essential. That's what democracy is based on. But secondly, this 3-year delay, 3 year delay in issuing licenses has resulted in a lot of foregone tax revenue to the city. It's resulted in foregone employment opportunities for Pontiac residents. And it's also stalled a lot of other development in the city because everybody who owns a parcel of property or has an option on a parcel of property and has applied for a marijuana license is waiting to see if they get that marijuana license before they move forward with any development for that parcel of property. And this 3-year delay reminds me a lot of the 3-year delay in terms of the youth recreation millage. The voters passed it 3 years ago, and yet today, after
that is time.
$2.7 million has been paid, we have nothing to show for it.
So we have reached our last question on tonight. So we are asking all the candidates to give us your why, and also please include what your top 3 priorities for the first year on your job will be. We are going to start with Tim Grimmel.
Yeah. Our residents are the heart and soul of this city. We all collectively care deeply about one another, about our neighborhoods, and about the entirety of the community. And we deserve better from City Hall. Our most pressing challenges have not been resolved. In fact, very little, if any, progress has been made on our most pressing challenges. And my top 3 priorities are fixing the roads and plowing the snow on time, number 1. Number 2, having a real youth recreation program. And when I talk about youth recreation, I mean more than just sports and athletics, although those are essential. I mean art and music, overall youth enrichment programs. We need after-school tutoring and computer programming and coding classes. We need to do everything we can to give our young people every opportunity to live up to their full potential. And we need more than one youth recreation center. We need several youth recreation centers to make sure that they're in close proximity to our young people so that young people who can't drive can get there. And I would also note that as we bring jobs and investment here, and this brings me to the 3rd important priority, we've got to do more to make sure that more Pontiac residents get those jobs. Yes, we've seen investment come here. We've seen Amazon. We've seen United Wholesale Mortgage. But we haven't seen Pontiac residents get their fair share of those job opportunities. And I have a detailed plan through job training and apprenticeship programs, through job placement programs, to make sure that more Pontiac residents are connected with those job opportunities when they become available. And we can partner with the Pontiac School District and the Oakland Community College to make sure that our residents have the skills needed to fill those jobs. The last thing I would say is that anytime the city uses tax incentives to bring investment here, we need to require that a certain percentage of the jobs go to Pontiac residents.
Go ahead, Mr. Boyd.
You know, I think about my upbringing in this community. I tell people all the time, you know, I was born on Thanksgiving, right across the street from the Pontiac Silverdome. And I remember just the lines being there. I remember the carnivals. I remember Arts, Beats, and Eats. You know, I remember the after-school programs, the synergy programs. I remember playing soccer at Harrington. I mean, you know, I just remember all of what Pontiac had. Like, I told somebody the other day, like, I think I rarely went to Detroit when I was younger because we had everything here. You know, we had fun stuff to do on the weekend. And so how do we go from that to this? And so that is my why. I am a mentor on the world-renowned Hall of Fame robotics team at the International Technology Academy. And you should see the respect we get when we go across this country and compete. We bring banners back to the city. We bring recognition. But see, without that program, I often wonder, what would those kids be doing? I lay in my bed and up the street, I live in a neighborhood where those kids got shot in a drive-by. A couple weeks ago, some kids broke in the house, grabbed a gun, and fired off 2 shots. And the only reason why one of those kids didn't get hurt, the gun jammed. When did our community go from so much fun to these kids are bored, they're in the streets? That's my why. I'm homegrown. I was born, raised, and I currently live here. and I've been in this world. I've traveled this world. I've worked in the Obama administration. I worked for Senator Carl Levin. I got a law degree and all that stuff. And so, but I want to bring that back to Pontiac because I want these students to see what success look like. You can reach that. That's my why. I care about the senior citizen community, disabled community, the veterans. I have a disabled older brother that I grew up in a home with. That's my why.
That's time.
Go ahead, Mayor.
This has been a very powerful dialogue this evening, and I applaud all of you who've come because you're interested in the future of your city, and you know that you want to be involved and you want to be knowledgeable about the choice, because there are choices to be made. In my case, you know me. You know who I am. You've seen me for 8 years, and you've seen what I've delivered. In fact, there's a term going around, Deirdre delivers. Not just promises, and that's the distinct difference. You know I brought back retiree health care to our retirees. You know that I've stabilized our finances, and 3 years we've gotten an award for our finances. We now have a surplus instead of hemorrhaging money when we started. You know that we have businesses coming back. We know that our neighborhoods are stronger and safer. You know that our crime statistics have come back, and you know also that I believe in supporting our citizens. And that's why it was so important to me when we got $5.8 million from the American Rescue Plan. I looked around and saw that wasn't enough. And I thought that cities that were our size were getting far more. So I fought for us to get our fair share. And it took some doing, but as they had me sign a waiver for our city to become a metropolitan city for 1 year, and so instead of the 5.8, we have $37.7 million. That's your money, citizens of Pontiac. And we ought to use that in a way that would really benefit our citizens who are in need. We've all come through the pandemic. And one of the things that are really real, unlike the others who bring promises, and I say, well, where have you been in 4 years since we've been struggling to get back on our feet and to build our community? So I would like to have the help of those who promise, but you see that I have delivered, and I want to continue to do that. I'm honored to serve you. I want to continue to do that. And one of the things that I'm going to say for real time, we need our citizen support now. We need our small business support now. And as we're discussing what to do with that $37.7 million, one of the things I'm going to say to council very soon is to take a proposal for $2 million to start using it for grants to repair our homes.
That's time.
Repair our homes and do
that is time.
We have a rebuttal by Tim.
Well, I just want to make sure that credit's given where credit's due. And initially, the city was given or allocated $6 million from the federal government. But it's actually our state senator, Rosemary Bayer, and especially our state representative, Brenda Carter, who flagged the fact that the city should have an opportunity to get more funding. And they worked with Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence to make sure that that happened. And when I'm mayor, we're going to make sure that we get every dollar we're owed from the federal, state, and county governments. I am personal friends with members of the congressional delegation here in the state. I know the governor personally. I have friends on both sides of the aisle in the state legislature, and I've known our county executive, Dave Coulter, for over 15 years. And we're going to make sure that we leverage all available resources from other levels of government to make sure that Pontiac finally gets its fair share.
Go ahead, Ms. Riley, same question.
I believe I should be the next mayor, elected as the next mayor of the city of Pontiac because I'm qualified. I was born and raised in this city. My mother was born and raised in this city. My grandmother was born and raised in this city. And I went away to study policy at Stanford University and Yale University, political science and business at the University of Michigan. And I came back home and I purchased a home on Ottawa Drive. And I started my businesses here. I'm invested. I love this city. I'm passionate about this city. This is not a career move for me. This is something that is deeply personal. I'm also experienced. I'm a certified ICMA city manager. I currently work as the director of development for an adjacent county. I've worked in the mayor's office. I've successfully brought millions of dollars into our city for Pontiac residents. And lastly, I'm ready to lead. I'm ready. And beyond that, the three most important issues for me are economic development, downtown development, and community development. With respect to economic development, Pontiac has jobs, but Pontiac people aren't getting them. We talk about development coming into the city, and Pontiac contractors are not getting a piece of the pie. So economic development will be one area. Downtown development, I'd like to lose the loop and redirect traffic back into our downtown. If you think about any other thriving downtown, Baltimore, DC, Chicago, Detroit, it's built around water. I'd like to daylight our Clinton River, work with MDOT for the funding to do that. And lastly, and most importantly, community development, working to invest in our youth, giving them quality programming in a safe, modern, quality community center, honoring our seniors, making sure that home ownership opportunities are afforded to our residents, and prioritizing Pontiac people, making sure that it's an equitable and that it's an inclusive economy where we can work together, the mayor's office and city council, for all of us. Thank you.
Ms. Coates.
As Mayor Wanda Denise Coates, I want to thank you all for this opportunity, and I give the Heavenly Father the glory for this platform. As mayor, we're going to rise up together. It might sound like a cliche, but we have to bring unity into the community. Some things that I'll do as Mayor Wanda Denise Coates, we're going to bring workforce development, education, and training. We want 3D design. We want biotechnology. We want all those things to come to City of Pontiac. We want to make sure that the children get proper science, technology, engineer, arts, math, and music. We want to make sure we build those 30 homes to bring up that property value, bring those couples together, bring the individuals together. We want to make sure we have mentoring and all types of things for everyone in the city. The seniors, the veteran. I was basically raised by my grandmother, and my father is a veteran. Families and singles, wellness, fitness, and also crime reduction. So that's what I would like to do as mayor, City of Pontiac. I want to say to my Chaldean family, thank you so much for allowing me to put over 10,000 needs from my hands to other people's hands with your stores and restaurants. I thank you. I've been boots on the ground and sandals on the ground now. And also, lastly, I'm going to speak to my Hispanic family because my family is Hispanic too. Pontiac is 60% African American. Right now we have Caucasian people there and we have Hispanic. So to my Hispanic family, ¿Cómo está usted? Mi papá es español. La familia at la casa es español. My familia is Cato la familia. Te amo mucho. Mi Wanda Denise Coates. Vote Augusta 3rd, 2021 for Mayor, City of Pontiac. I am the woman for Mayor, City of Pontiac. Thank you. Muy bien, gracias.
We want to thank all of our candidates that came out tonight. Let's give them all a hand. We also have to give a special thanks to Pontiac United for hosting this event. Come on, let's give them a hand. And a special thank you to Tracy Hurst. She's over there in the corner, still working, for putting this idea together. Now, if your question was not answered tonight, don't worry, you still have a chance to talk to all of the candidates. They will be at Ballots and Bounce Houses on June 29th. So come out and get your voice, heard.
July 29th.
July, thank you for the correction. We also have a photo booth in the back that we want you to take pictures at, so you can remember this moment. Also, we have food in the back. We just want to give you a thank you for coming out and supporting us tonight. Yeah.
And special thanks again to ATAP Superintendent September Williams for opening up her doors this evening, the Pontiac Housing Commission, Pontiac United, Oakland Forward, and of course, all of our volunteers who came out to support tonight. We thank you to all the candidates. both for mayor and city council, and everyone get home safely and have a great evening.
Hey, great job.
ATAP, we're Pontiac United. We're here for a forum. I'm just glad they invited me to come out. I'm glad I had the opportunity. I want to thank everybody who set this up, and I want to thank everybody involved. I'm asking y'all, August 3rd, go vote. Depending on whoever your candidate is, just make sure you get out and vote, because your vote do matter. Do your research. Make sure you know what you're voting on when you go vote. And again, my name is Marcus Bowman, running for City Council District 1, Pontiac, Michigan. Y'all have a good one.
Can you say something on the camera for us?
Oh, yeah. So we still here at Pontiac's United Mayoral debate. We had a great time. Some of the candidates answered all of the questions. I'm looking forward to the next event, though. Pontiac United is having another event. It's called Ballots and Bounce Houses. It's July 29th, 2021 from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Pontiac Academy for Excellence. The address is 196 Cesar Chavez, Pontiac, Michigan, 48342. Make sure you come out. Don't miss the next event. It's going to be hyped. Tonight was a good night. Shout out to Fiji Media. I'm signing out of here. Let's get out of here.
This is Mayor Deirdre Waterman. This just came from quite a stimulating forum. A lot of people attended, interested in the future of Pontiac. And what was very evident here is that there's a clear choice in the choices for mayor and other candidacies. I think what I was able to get across was saying the things that I have delivered. Because I've been here for 8 years, people have seen the pendulum of progress that we're on, and then we want to continue because we put some things in place to give us that future vision for success. So that's what I'm going to do, continue to serve the citizens of Pontiac. I'm a write-in, a little technical glitch here, so you're going to have to look for that empty space on the ballot and write my name in. The clerk's office says it doesn't have to be perfect. Everybody knows how to spell water and man. So write in my name, please, for continued support. And remember to color in the oval. You have to do that in order for the ballot to count. So we're going to continue this success. It's been a proud to serve the citizens of Pontiac. And let's keep the pendulum moving forward. I respect and love the city of Pontiac, and I want to serve the citizens, bringing you good fortune and good sex and progress right here in Pontiac. Thank you.
Hey, Pontiac, it's Alexandria T. Riley, candidate for mayor, reminding you to get out and vote. August 3rd, early voting is happening now in the city clerk's office at City Hall. But I want to take this opportunity and thank Pontiac United. Tracy Hirsch, you are phenomenal. Your entire team, DeMar, Ariel, and everyone that was a part of this, along with Effigy Media Arts, Asante Lucas and his team. He had the whole crew out working today. Pontiac Housing Commission, Yvette Transu, Ahmad Taylor, Oakland Forward, City Council President Kermit Williams. And so it was phenomenal. We had a lot of young people that came out. We had an engaged conversation, and I am feeling very encouraged about this election. So I'm asking for your vote, because I like to prioritize Pontiac people and respond with resources and uplift our city and create an equitable and an inclusive economy for all of us. So please vote Alexandria T. Riley, next mayor of the city of Pontiac. All right, I'll see you soon. Thanks, Pontiac.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
This was a great event. I want to thank everyone who organized this event. It's a great example of bringing our community together to talk about the most important challenges facing our community. And I'm running on a platform of making sure that residents get the city government they deserve, that we build the Pontiac that all of us deserve together. And that's about delivering better city services by fixing the roads and improving snow plowing, making sure we're putting in place real, sustainable youth recreation programs. And as we bring jobs and investment here, we've got to do more to make sure Pontiac residents get those jobs. It doesn't do any good bringing jobs here if they all go to outsiders. So thank you so much for tuning into this important event. I have a proven track record of fighting for Pontiac. I love this community. I'm proud to call Pontiac home, and I'm looking forward to working not just with City Council in a collaborative way to get things done, but with the entire overall community, residents, civic organizations, and small business. By working together, we will build the Pontiac that all of us deserve. Thank you.